online.
Okay, as you might remember from last time, one of the important differences between high school and university is your freedom. You're having a lot more control of your schedule and how you spend your time. And so an important skill to have going into university is time management. That means organizing the things that you do to make sure that you get everything done and that you do it effectively. So, here are a few time management tips that will allow you to be successful in your new life of freedom. Okay, so the first tip I have for you is to set SMART goals. SMART is an acronym. It stands for specific, measured, achievable, relevant, and timed. That means that you should be setting goals that are specific. Write your goals in a sentence. What do you need to get done? Measured means that you can measure it. It might be how many pages you want to read. It might be how you can measure that you have either achieved this goal or that you haven't. You should be setting goals that are achievable, which means that you can do them. Don't set yourself goals that are impossible. That won't make you feel good and it won't motivate you to finish it. Relevant means it's meaningful, and timed means that you've given yourself a time limit on when you need to complete this goal by. Setting SMART goals is one of the most important things that you can learn to do as a student, trying to get a lot of things done at one time. Because you're doing a lot of things at once, you should prioritize your goals. What are the things that you need to get done first? What are the things that you absolutely need to do? And what are the things that you can save until later? Assigning things different priorities is really important because you can't do everything at one time. That will be overwhelming. Give you a few things that you need to get done right now and a few things that you can put on the back burner and save until later. Another thing that you should be doing is setting time limits. As I said, one important part of SMART goals is your goals are timed. Your homework is timed. Your tests are timed. Your essays are timed. Make sure that you are setting and recording when you need to get things done to make sure that you can do everything in time and get full points on everything that you're doing. Next, write down your schedule. This is really important. It's something that I have trouble with myself. I love to think that I remember everything that I need to do, and then I realize that I've forgotten something. So when you know that you need something done in time, write it down. When you know that you have a meeting on Friday, when you know that you have a special class on Tuesday, when you know that you need to do laundry on Sunday, write that down. Because when you've written those things down, it'll be harder for you to forget and it'll allow you to incorporate your schedule into the things that you need to do. Next, keep organized. Another thing that I struggle with. My room right now is a mess. And even though it feels like that's not necessarily important to keeping you on schedule, to keeping you in charge of your time, if you are organized, if your space is organized, if your schedule is organized, it'll make you work a lot more efficiently because you're not constantly thinking about those things that are messy in your life. So try to stay organized. Try to stay on top of cleaning, on top of your schedule, on top of organizing your goals and your life. Because when you can keep that organized, you can work more effectively because you're not thinking about those distracting things. And last, take breaks. You need breaks. We need to rest our minds. We need to rest our bodies. We need to sleep. If you are trying to power through and get everything done without taking any breaks, you won't be as efficient. Sometimes it feels weird to take a break from knowledge, to rest, to go hang out with a friend, to eat breakfast. But those breaks are actually really helpful and will make your study time more effective. These tips will all help you better manage your time. It'll help you to be a better student, to be a better studier, and to make sure that you're getting the things done that you need to get done. So this is a little bit about time management. Next, I want to talk to you about note taking. Taking notes in classes is really important. There are ways to do it effectively, and there are ways to do it not effectively. one thing as a teacher that I've seen a lot of my students do is when I have a PowerPoint like this, to come and take a picture of the PowerPoint that I have just given them. That is one example of a poor note-taking skill. That's not going to help you remember the information. It'll help you have access to the PowerPoint that I've given you, but if you're not actually using that knowledge, if you're not actually trying to understand that knowledge in your own way, you'll never remember it. So what is note-taking? What does it mean to take notes? Well, note-taking means a few things. One, it means recording the key ideas and the relationships between them. You're not just copying everything that I say as a teacher. You're not just copying down a PowerPoint, but you're keeping track of the main ideas. What are the important points? What are the key words? And how are they related to each other? How can I use this knowledge on a test? How can I use this knowledge on an essay? Why is this knowledge important to my life and to this class? Next, try to understand the concepts in class. When you're taking notes, you're trying to understand the knowledge. You're trying to understand the lecture. That means as you're taking notes, you might find that you don't understand something. That's okay. Write that down. Notes are a relationship between you and the knowledge. It's what you understand and what you don't understand about the lecture or the PowerPoint. Next, you're not writing every word. It's impossible. It's impossible to write every word in the time given, and it won't help you. Your professor is teaching you in a way that helps them teach you and that they think you will learn effectively. But you need to take notes in a way that is helpful for you, which means you should be writing keywords, writing down things that you want to return to, writing down ideas that are helpful for understanding the topic that you're talking about in class. Use your own words. If you don't understand the professor's words, don't write them down, or write them down in a way that highlights that you don't understand them. But when you're writing notes, you want to be using your notes in a way that you understand and in a way that is helpful to you. So use your own words when you write those things down. Next, highlight the things that you don't understand. As you're going through this knowledge, as you are going through the lecture and the PowerPoint, if you are confused about something, write that down. Ask questions in your notes. Highlight ideas that you want to think about more. Highlight ideas that you want to go research or things that you need to go and talk to the professor about. It's important that you don't understand, and it's okay that you don't understand, but you want to make sure that you remember that so that you can make use of that knowledge in the future. So, a few skills, a few tips for taking notes. First, be prepared. When you go into class, have your paper out, have your pens out, have an idea of what the lecture will be about. When you are prepared for taking notes, your notes are going to be stronger. Your notes are going to be more helpful to you as you kind of review this knowledge in the future. After you're prepared, record information about the lecture, date, and topic. You want to make sure that you remember when these notes are taken. When I was in university, I remember going back to my notes and trying to find one specific thing. And I couldn't find it because I didn't record which days we had these lectures on. And so I ended up having to read my notes from beginning to end, which is not an effective use of my time. If I had recorded the date or the lecture topic, I would have been able to find that information really easily. Next, use abbreviations and symbols. Like I said, you don't have to write every word. You're trying to keep track of key points and how they are related to each other. So use abbreviations, use arrows, use circle things, use symbols that you will understand the relationship between the different ideas that you're talking about in class. Next, structure your notes. Do not just write everything on the page as you think of it. That might be the way that you need to write notes at the beginning, but if you can structure your notes, if you can organize your notes in a meaningful way, that will help you a lot more as you're going back to review that information. Next, use as much space as you need. Prepare a lot of pages. Have a lot of blank space as you're taking notes. That's okay. as you're taking notes, take the space that you need. Don't try to cram everything into a little tiny corner of a page, because when you return to that notes, it'll be hard to understand. And you can't add anything more. If you take up a lot of space, you can add more as you review it later. Next, highlight important topics, words, or ideas. So as you interact with the main idea, as you find a key topic, circle it, highlight it, find a way to say to yourself in the future, this is an important idea, study this, think about this. Next, write down questions. As questions come up, as you're confused, as if there's something that you want to ask and you maybe don't have time in class, write it down. That way you can return to that question later and maybe answer it if you find out the answer. Next, use pictures and diagrams. Again, you're not writing down every word. You're not trying to keep every word that the professor has said. So use pictures and diagrams to organize your notes and so that you can look at your notes and understand kind of the main idea and how everything is related at one time. And last, review your notes afterwards. After class, immediately after class, look at the notes. Look at the notes that you've just written. You might have new ideas come to mind. You might understand new things. You might have new questions. And then if you can even summarize your notes at the end, that will be really helpful to you moving forward as you use that information. So a few examples of taking notes. Here's one really beautiful example. As you can see, this person has used multiple colors. Colors can actually help you organize ideas, organize your notes. It can help you keep track of definitions. It can help you keep track of questions. If you want to use a lot of colors, I know that helped me a lot in my chemistry class when I was taking chemistry. I love to use colors in taking my notes. If that helps you, do that. Another thing that you see that this person has done is they have pre-lecture notes or pre-lecture ideas up in the top left-hand corner in that blue box. You can see things that they're thinking about going into the lecture. That's their preparation, and that is helping them write notes in important ways. At the bottom, in the bottom right-hand corner, you have ideas that come up at the end. It's a summary of the notes. It's the things that they're their takeaways from this lecture. Writing your post-lecture notes can help you kind of wrap up the main thoughts that you get after a lecture. The other things that you've seen they've done is they've used arrows, they've used clouds to kind of show the relationship, to show things that are important. They've also doodled a little bit. It's okay to doodle on your notes if that is going to help you kind of keep track of the information. I loved to draw pictures. I loved to put my pen to that paper and draw a picture that was going to help me make sense of these notes when I visited in the future. There's also a lot of note-taking styles. So this person has used something called Cornell notes. Cornell notes are a specific note-taking style that can help you organize information. So on the left side, you have main ideas, you have questions, you have definitions. So you see definition of irony. You see what is characterization, what is conflict. These are the organizing themes of these notes. And then on the right column, you have answers to those questions. You have details about those ideas. If this is a style of note-taking that you feel like makes sense to you and that you like, try Cornell notes. At the bottom, you'll see there's a summary of the notes. And so this person at the end of class, after taking their Cornell notes, goes to the bottom and writes a quick summary of the things that they learned that they want to keep track of moving forward. And then on the top, you see you have details about when this lecture was, about what the topic was, etc., so they can keep their notes organized. So that's it for today. Today we worked a little bit about time management. How can you manage your time effectively when you have so many different things going on in this new chapter of university life for you? How can you make sure that you get everything done on time and effectively? That's a hard skill. It takes time to work, but using some of these time management skills will be helpful to you in moving forward. And then a little bit about taking notes. As you're taking notes, it's important to use the note-taking skills to take notes effectively. You don't want to write everything down. You want to write down just the things that you need so that you can use the knowledge that you get from lectures and PowerPoints when you have to use it on a test and moving forward into your other classes. So that's it for this episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.